The Ukrainian port city of Mariupol looked like this in 2022. Ravaged by war, buildings were destroyed, and graves lined the streets. Now, it's being built up to look like this, a Russian utopia. Despite its bloody history, Mariupol is being advertised as a family-friendly city, complete with a Russian military base. It is part of the Russification of Mariupol. Bellingcat has identified 23 apartment complexes being built in the ashes of the occupied city and listed for sale on Russian websites with low mortgage rates. In February 2022, Mariupol, a southeastern city in Ukraine, was surrounded by Russian forces. Homes, infrastructure, and essential services were shelled. The Russian bombardment cut food, water, power, and heat to the besieged city. Internet and phone lines went down. Most of its more than 400,000 residents fled the city. Mariupol was razed to the ground. By the time the brutal 86-day siege ended, an estimated 25,000 people had been killed. 9 out of 10 residential buildings in Mariupol were damaged or destroyed during Russia's invasion. Satellite imagery shows the buildings in this area before Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022. As part of its post-siege reconstruction of the city, Russia deployed workers to demolish what was left. By the summer of 2024, all had been demolished, with some already being rebuilt. In the months after Mariupol was seized, Russia released a plan to restore the city and grow its population to 500,000 by 2035. And that plan is in full swing. Streets have been renamed, Ukrainian monuments removed, and murals painted over. Access to Ukrainian websites have been blocked, and Russian programs are shown on television. Mariupol and St. Petersburg are now twin cities. Here are some of Russia's latest developments in the region. This is the new Nevsky residential estate. In a video of Russian President Vladimir Putin meeting residents in the neighborhood in 2023, a woman in the background can be heard shouting, "This is all a lie." The Leningrad quarter was a site of death and destruction in 2022. People fell from their windows when Building 81 was shelled and engulfed in flames, according to posts in a Telegram channel that documented the lives lost here. It's now the largest of the 23 new developments. The sprawling residential complex is in Mariupol's northeast, a 10-minute drive from the shore of the Sea of Azov. In all, 15 high-rises along with car parking, recreation areas, and children's playgrounds are being built. "We are building the future of Russia," the website for the development says. Construction of the first buildings has been completed. New residents have already moved in. The apartments are listed for sale with preferential mortgages at a 2% interest rate over 30 years with Russian banks. Mortgage rates in Russia are on average about 20%. But what if a Ukrainian wants to return to Mariupol? What if their home has been demolished and a new building with apartments for sale stands in its place? How can they prove ownership when property records are missing or have been destroyed? To claim a home in Mariupol, residents first have to become a Russian citizen and then present in person with ownership documents. Unclaimed properties can be deemed ownerless or abandoned and sold to new buyers. Those who can prove property ownership say the financial compensation being offered is at a rate far lower than market value. Authorities have said they will compensate residents who lost their homes in the war, but this is capped at about €12,000 for a one-person household and €16,000 for a two-person family. The cheapest flats advertised in the rebuilt apartment blocks start at about €45,000 for a 20-meter square studio. Some residents, including those who lived in the original Soviet-era buildings at the Leningrad site, have appeared in videos posted to social media, cautiously appealing to Putin to intervene in the housing situation. In central Mariupol, 7 separate residential complexes are now under construction. Among them are 4 gemstone-named developments ranging from 9 to 15 stories. Within the same area, 3 other apartment blocks, the Residence, Residence 2 and Residence 3, are due to be completed by the end of the year. Prices start from €60,000 to €75,000. The tree-lined street where Residence 3 now stands became a graveyard during the siege. Across the road from the Children's and Maternity Hospital that was bombed in 2022, construction workers are building the Horizon complex, 2 comfort-class high-rises due to be finished by next year. A 2023 analysis by the Kiev School of Economics estimated the damage to Ukraine's housing stock to be almost $56 billion. Ukrainian authorities said more than 11,000 homes were destroyed and tens of thousands more were damaged in Mariupol. Half of the 2,600 multi-story residential buildings were reduced to rubble. This investigation focuses only on the 23 new apartment complexes advertised for sale in Russia. When presented with our findings, Professor Balakrishnan Rajagopal, the UN's Special Rapporteur on the right to adequate housing, described the scale and intensity of destruction, mass displacement of residents, and deaths of civilians as one of the most flagrant violations of international law. He said declaring a property ownerless or abandoned in order to annex it is an old colonial legal trick that settler colonial states have used for hundreds of years when such property, usually belonging to native populations, was declared terra nullius, no person's land, in order to acquire it, but is considered to be completely contrary to modern international law. What Russia is attempting is to go back to medieval practices and discredited norms, such as terra nullius, that Russia itself, as part of the Soviet Union, actively opposed for decades. Read the full investigation at Bellingcat.com.